seen these movies. I haven't seen these movies. And yet I'm in agreement that you could have made them, but you could have left the Titanic out of it. You take the Titanic out of the first one, and you make it about whales being hunted. I'm okay with that. So is everybody else. You take the Titanic out of the sequel, and it being fucking repaired, and given advanced technology, I can understand that too. But it's like, why in the world would you do it in the first place? Why in the world would you even involve the Titanic if none of the movies focus centrally on the Titanic itself? I mean, you could say the first one did in some ways, and everything. That's fine. But it was mostly just there for top. Here's something that I don't think neither Bob or Doug basically put in there or added to the reviews. The Titanic was basically used in the title of the first one and referenced and seen only once at the end of the movie for title recognition. Basically, this studio didn't give a damn or not that they were fabricating what was going on, whether it was being told as a story to grandchildren in the movie or not. And whether, people would be pissed off at the fact that you were disrespecting things. All they cared about is, hey, let's line our pockets with money, and the best way we could do that with these movies that will essentially not really have much to do with the Titanic, and fabricate how it sank, and fabricate how it did this and that. Guess what we're gonna do? We're just gonna we're gonna slap the Titanic name on it, have some kind of focus on it, not much, and go from there. That's all it was. I mean, I will admit, the animation in both was okay. The second one, a step down, not much. But the rest was okay. But seriously, the music in the second one, I can understand people complaining about the rapping dog. But even Bob said the rapping dog in the Titanic Legend Goes On had a purpose for his rapping happening. But a rapping shark and a music remix, a musical remix, it doesn't make any sense. Again, all they did with these two movies, in my opinion, is they just slapped the Titanic name on them, or slapped the reference to the Titanic on them, and said, guess what? It's about the Titanic. I mean, here in America, the second one's not even called Tentacolino. It's called In Search of the Titanic. So essentially, all these studios did was slap the Titanic name on both these movies without any real focus on the Titanic itself, and just go from there. I'm probably going to be crazy for saying this, but I'm probably going to end up copying the video link and downloading both movies off YouTube eventually, and just adding them to the collection just for the heck of it, so I can at least say, oh, guess what? I have both The Legend of Titanic and In Search of Titanic. Heck, I can come out and say this honestly. I have Star Wars The Holiday Special. I do. But the fact of the matter is, this was a true life event, true life tragedy that happened 101 years ago. And yet, you have a studio in Italy, whether Italy or not, you have a studio in Italy. You have a DVD video distributor here in the United States that distributed this movie, and all they did was slap on the Titanic's name for recognition and sales. Not giving a damn whether or not people would find this offensive. Again, out of respect, I can understand that they did this because young kids, which the damn movie was intended for, both movies, I can understand, and that it was for them. Because maybe they're too young to understand the truth yet. But what are you going to tell those kids? It's now. Let's say the kids at the time this movie was made are 5, 6 years old, 4 years old, whatever. What are you going to tell them now, 9 years later? What are you going to tell them now, 14 years later? Huh? What are you going to tell them now? What are you going to tell the kids that were 4, 3, back in 99? What are you going to tell them now? Huh? What are you essentially going to tell a 3-year-old who was born in 96, if you will, is going to be 17 this year? What are you going to tell an 18-year-old, someone's going to be 18 this year? What are you going to tell them now about this movie when they look back on it? What are you going to tell those 3 to 5-year-old kids that saw the sequel in 2004, 9 years later? What are you going to tell them? Huh? Are you going to tell them, we just made it because you guys were too young to understand at the time? Oh, yeah. And they'll look at it now, probably look at it in the collection and go like, I can't believe we own this motherfucker. And if they get the permission to do so, they probably take that damn DVD or both DVDs and burn the shit out of them. But I'm pretty sure there are families that feel that way, but they keep them because there's a whole new generation of young kids that if they see something like this, they're going to want to, when they hear about the Titanic, they're going to want to they're going to want to know more about it. But just like the James Cameron movie was not suitable for a lot of kids, not suitable for any kids unless they were accompanied by a parent. These movies were basically their answer to it. So, whether we like it or not, that's essentially what these movies were. They just slapped the Titanic name on them and dumbed them down for the kids. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you watch them and you take out any indication of the Titanic, any of the elements of the Titanic in both movies, they're probably pretty much okay. They're probably enjoyable. But adding into Titanic, makes it, just dumbs it down, makes them some of the worst movies in history. I mean, in fact, a lot of people will say this: they'd rather watch Joe Schumacher's Batman and Robin 10 times over than watch these two pieces of crap. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me and Doug on this, and Bob? And what do you think about my assumption, my thought process of they just slapped the name on it? Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you later.